high as a kite.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of PNTS's. I like to call this Prognosis TV, right? Let me see if I can. Whoa! Bunch of hidden Easter egg. What the hell are they talking about? Let me do something weird. Let me do a little bit of maintenance here, real quick. Actually, this is a Broadband Bullies. This is Broadband Bullies time right here on the channel. I know it's confusing, but here's what I want to do. I have a segment of our PNTS Patreon that we call Prognosis TV. And on Prognosis TV, we dig deep. We go into the nitty gritty. It's full education mode. We don't get into the little bloviate and the pop filter and all this other stuff. We get away from the console war stuff, and we're trying to educate people on things that they may lack some experience with, right? So, but this is Broadband Bullies time right here on this channel. Normally I air the medicine or something today, you know what I mean? So we're doing a collaborative effort. Here's what I'm trying to do though. I think I got it. Is that right? Did I do it? Did I do that? Did I do that? No, it didn't work. Here, let's try something else. Let's do this. Boom. Okay. And now we're going to come right back. Boom. Did it work? No, it didn't work. What I was trying to do is get my logo to show up on the screen, but it ain't going to show because I don't think I did something right. Let me check one more thing. I don't have a whole bunch of time because we're actually going to be going over this. Oh, hold on. That's why. We're going to be going over this in full detail. There we go. I should be there now. Yeah. And let me know, chat, if y'all hear an echo. Hopefully you don't. Yeah, you shouldn't. Okay. What's up? We're going to shout out everybody that's watching right now. We got Jay Smith. We got King Reaper. We got Anthony Chipmunk. We got Zaljic. We got Chariot Man Gaming. What is going on? So why am I here today? I'm here today because I wanted to inform people about this whole notion of what Luna is and the threat that it has to Stadia and gaming altogether. I want to say first and foremost that I am highly excited at the proposition of Luna. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know that Stadia is my preferred way to play because I love the portability of it. I love the performance. I mean, I get a feel when I'm playing my favorite games. I get a feel on Stadia that I just don't get anywhere else. And I get that feeling without the worrying about the codecs and the bobecs like you do on PC and the cheating and checking for frames. I ain't got to worry about that. I get the plug and play. Convenience of a console. Meanwhile, I get like some of the perks of PC. Not quite all of it. And all that for a maximum of $100 if I want a dongle for my TV, or for $0, meaning I don't need to buy a console in order to get this experience. And if I want the top-notch experience via 4K and 5.1 Dolby, I can pay $10 a month. With my $10 a month, I get games in addition to that. But I don't have to pay a subscription fee in order to enjoy Stadia. So what I want to do is, because I've seen a lot of people that are doing you guys a disservice. And they're doing you a disservice, not because they're talking about Stadia. Look, I've been doing this for almost 11 months as far as Stadia is concerned. I am used to the ignorant comments and the stupidity. And we've ripped those people a hole. Like, let me give you an example. And I got a name drop in order for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. But for instance, Jez Gordon sent out a tweet someone sent me today. He says, this is the Stadia killer because of the Windows x86 architecture that will allow games to be easily ported from PC to Luna than it can be for Stadia. Stadia is based on Linux and Vulkan API, so to get games over, it's a little bit more complicated. I won't say it's a little bit more complicated. It's just easier to do it on Luna. They were able to port all of Destiny 2 on Stadia in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So it's not complicated as they try to, it's not the big bad monster as they try to make it seem like to get games on Stadia. It's a different platform, so there's different things about it. But no question. If you already got a Windows x86 version on PC, boom, boom, boom. You know, you get it on Luna, right? So with that said, but you had an article, I mean, you had a tweet from Jess Gordon that said, death to Stadia. And it's not the fact that he's talking about Stadia that's a problem to me. Because like I said, we've already ripped him a hole with his goofy article about Destiny 2 coming to xCloud, for crying out loud, was the death to Stadia. And we had to drop that video and put his rhetoric back in its place. And he's full of this rhetoric because he's a Xbox enthusiast to the nth degree. He gets an attaboy every time he says something bad about Google and Stadia. We get it. But my problem is that it's going to misinform people on what Amazon is truly providing here and what their true goal is. And you got a lot of people in the mainstream like Jazz and like Jason Schreier and other places that don't understand cloud gaming. They don't understand it in totality, and they're giving people false pretenses about what to expect. And we want that to stop. We want people to be informed. And you ain't necessarily got to like Stadia. Just know what Stadia is and know what Luna is, so you can make the best well-rounded decision that you can make for your purchasing needs. My job is not to tell you what to purchase. My job is to make sure that all of the correct data and correct information is completely out there so you can make the purchasing decision that you need. And unfortunately on this channel, we don't deal a lot with cloud gaming. So you guys may listen to this podcast, may listen to this article writer, this content creator, and you guys are so misinformed when it comes to this that you could be missing out on something that will really benefit you. Prime example, Jason Schreier put out a tweet earlier today or yesterday that said, I don't understand Luna's model, which he messes up Luna's model and Stadia's model because he butchered it. He said, but Luna's model is better, 1,000 times better than Stadia, because I, for the life of me, can't understand what Stadia's model is and why someone would want it. And to me, all due respect to Jason and his investigative work, that was one of the most idiotic things you could say, particularly in the time frame where people, for storage, you're being asked to pay almost the same price that a console for storage. Storage is $250. An SSD, proprietary SSD is $215. The console was $299. Right? And with cloud gaming, you don't need that. And what Stadia is basically doing is saying, we're giving you the perks of what your dedicated device gives you as far as plug and play without all the plug and pay. Do you understand? Without all the swipe and pay. And we're giving it to you better. And our ultimate goal is to be better across the board. You know, it's going to take some time. And they admitted that. They said within 3 years' time, the platform will be clearly better than dedicated devices. And over X amount of time, you will start seeing original content from their studios that will blow your mind because it can't be done elsewhere. But in the meantime, what they're doing is they're working to get you the content that you cherish right now. And in the future, they're going to start giving you content that you couldn't even imagine. Project Chimera, ray tracing, and what you're seeing a little bit of that right now, like with the software ray tracing via the Kronos group. Look that up. They're doing it in some titles right now. So there's just a plethora of things going on with cloud gaming and Stadia that people don't understand because there's a lot of rhetoric and noise, right? So here we go. So let's talk about the myths. Let's talk about what Luna is, and let's get into what the actual future is. And I'm going to do that quick because as you can see in the description below, we're going to be doing a full-fledged podcast on this later on Club Stadia's channel, okay? So let's get into it. All right. So the first myth is, we got like 4 myths here that we want to bust. The first myth is Stadia requires you to pay a submodel for only some of its games in its library, where Luna is going to give you access to everything under one subscription price. And that is wrong. That's absolutely wrong. How was that wrong? Let me show you. Let me show you something. Oh, what did I do? Is that the right screen? No, that's not the right screen. Live scene. Let's play. There we go. All right. This is a tweet from our good friend Clive Linden. We had him on the show yesterday, SSC Podcast. Smart guy, used to work for Sony, for PlayStation, as a matter of fact, writing contracts, dealing in Japan and stuff like that. He's been a valuable resource for me, and other people trying to understand the space. And these are the type of people that I've been blessed and fortunate enough to come across in this whole venture. I mean, I get it. You guys like to go to the GitHubs and all this other stuff, but those people don't understand how this whole platform works, how this whole ecosystem works with cloud gaming. They know Daddy Device Gaming, but GitHub and Jason Schreier and Jazz Gordon, those are not the people to come to about this. Clive and Linden, people with a lineage in gaming, like I said, signing contracts for Sony, working in Japan, doing certain things specific to this and understanding the tech and what the future holds for it. These are the people that you want to be plugged into. People like Random Noob, Clive, even Chase. He's at the beginning of this introducing me to a lot of the Discords and DMs. He was able to educate me on a lot of this stuff. These are the networks that you want to be plugged into if you want to learn more about cloud gaming. If you go anywhere else, you're just getting noise. You're simply getting noise. Like, I heard ridiculous stuff like Stadia got his funding cut. And 24 hours later, it was announced that they were releasing a studio in London, and that they did the big Mortal Kombat initiative that cost more money, and more stuff was happening. So, and then then we heard that the biggest development issue with Stadia is you got to develop for 3 screens. Just a bunch of crazy stuff that comes out of GitHub and some of these crazy circles. These are the people that you want to be plugged into. So anyway, this is what Clive said. He says, peeps, let's be very clear. They, as in Amazon Luna, use the word channels plural. One of those channels is Luna Plus for $5.99. The other for $5.99. The other is Ubisoft for some unspecified cost. The marketing is very misleading about the number of games for $5.99, unless I'm missing something. And then we discovered he's not missing anything. What's happening is the 100 games that you get that are coming from Luna, 50 of them are in Luna Plus. The other 50 are coming from Ubisoft's channel, which is the same equivalent as Uplay Plus on PC, and the same Uplay Plus that is coming to Stadia. Now, at what capacity, we don't know yet. We'll get into that. But all these initiatives are coming to Stadia. So basically, this Luna Plus, what it ultimately wants to be in the long run is a Game Pass. That's what it wants to be. But right now, it's to the equivalent of a Stadia Pro, where with Stadia Pro, when this thing launches, it's going to launch with 50 games. Stadia Pro, when this launches in October, Stadia Pro is going to have close to 50 games, maybe a little bit under 50 games that it had part of its Pro initiative. You see what I'm saying? Now, this $5.99 price point is a great deal, but again, this is the early access price point. It's not going to stay $5.99, especially as the volume in the catalog grows. I'm thinking $15, maybe even $20. Right? And then there's this thing about unlimited hours of play. Huh? What does that mean? That surmises that there might be some reason why you would get limited hours of play. Do you have to be a Prime member? All this. So again, to separate the forest from the trees, folks, you're not getting 100 games for $5.99. You're getting 50 games for $5.99. The biggest games out in those 50 are Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 7 and Control. Great games, but in Stadia Plus, you know what I'm saying? In Stadia Pro, you got Destiny, the complete collection. You got PUBG. You got ESO. You got some heavy hitters in there too. So you got to take that into consideration. Another thing you got to take into consideration is the maximum output at the moment is going to be 1080p 60. And it says up to 1080p 60. Up to 1080p 60. That means that there's no guarantee that every single game is going to run at 60 frames per second. Now, before you say, hold on, MM2K, we just saw an experience yesterday where we had a game not at 60 frames per second. Yes, yeah, but the majority, I want to say 99% of the game, well, 95% maybe of the games on Stadia are 60 frames per second. They have a 60 frames per second mode. Are we guaranteed the same thing here? But at the very least, we have games that have 4K. Luna doesn't. Now, the cool thing that I will say about Luna that Stadia doesn't have is that Stadia, you can only stream to one device at a time. They will let you stream to multiple devices, 2 devices at a time, and you can play on Mac. It seems like that they got their Safari solution ahead of time before Stadia. xCloud doesn't have that, but that's here nor there. So Luna is going to be able to be playable on iOS devices first. Stadia is going to follow right behind that. But that's what you're getting. And that's what you're getting with this one channel. As you see over here, when the Ubisoft channel comes, the other 50 games, you can only stream on one device. And again, it's still only going up to 1080p 60. So when Assassin's Creed Valhalla releases on Stadia's Uplay Plus, opposed to the Ubisoft channel on Luna, I'm likely going to be able to play at 4K, maybe even 60 frames per second, where I can't on Luna. That's a possibility. So just make sure that you guys understand everything that's happening in totality. All right? So, there you have it there. So that is that's myth number one that's busted, is that you're going to, for $5.99, you're going to get 100 games. That is not true. For $5.99 at the launch of this, you're going to get 50 games. And whatever the Ubisoft channel price, which may be $9.99, $50, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to pay in addition to that. Now, I got to keep it real. I got to be jiggy about this. If the Ubisoft channel has 50 games, and the Stadia's version has less, I could be inclined to go with theirs. And it's a possibility because of that Windows x86 architecture. It could be. So again, I'm not trying to dog Luna. Luna is going to be the ish in some regards. But again, to the stuff that Jez tweeted and to the stuff that Jason Schreier was saying, it's a bunch of bibble babble. These are two totally different market sets, where one is bundling things in a channel format, and another one has more options to it. Yes, you can become a Stadia Pro member and get their a la carte games, or get their bundle of games through Stadia Pro. Yes, you can get a bundle of games via a publisher like Uplay Plus, like how they have channels. It's just that Luna calls it channels. Stadia just calls it whatever it is. It's going to be Uplay Plus. And on top of that, Stadia is providing a la carte purchases. So if I'm a casual and I don't want just anything Activision, I'm not paying $10, $15 a month or $20 a month for the Activision channel. I might just want to buy my Call of Duty and buy my 2K and buy, you know what I'm saying? And I may not be willing to pay $15 a pop each channel in order to do that. Stadia gives you an option. They may say, hey, look, you want to buy Call of Duty a la carte? Buy it a la carte. We're working with the different publishers too to bring their stuff in a bundle format to our platform as well. Phil Harrison said so last year. He said, Uplay Plus is just the beginning. We're bringing other providers as well, EA and the likes. It's just that, to their credit, Amazon is going to be able to do it quicker, and they're doing it first, mainly because of that Windows x86 architecture that makes it so easy to port the PC versions over to Luna. And credit to them for that. So make sure that we're educated there. All right. So now we got that all together. All right. Next. The next myth is Stadia games are full price and they're always more expensive. That's what's going to make the Luna model even more lucrative. I had this battle with somebody that okay, I just got to expose him because he was trying to pull some effery. He tells me, "Oh, grow up," because I busted him in a lie. He said, "If you can't have a discussion without name calling, poking fun, then you shouldn't have debates. You like Stadia better, and that's fine. I'm not here to convince you, but only state what I see on paper. Agreeing to disagree is okay, my boy." The problem is we weren't disagreeing about opinions. He tried to lie and say that you got to pay full price for games on Stadia. And I was showing him, and I was nice to him at first. I was showing him to the contrary, and he said, "Oh, you must can't read." See if I can find that tweet. Said, "Oh, you can't read. You can't read." When I busted him. Nah, it's not even worth the energy. So we had to pull his card. But here we go. Just to give you an example of why that's bullpucky, we'll just take one game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. If you're someone that wants to buy a game a la carte, whether it be on Stadia, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, even Steam. Let's just take one example. There's plenty of them out there, but I'll just take one. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Right now, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is on sale for $14.99 on Stadia. I did this all today. $14.99 on Stadia. If you go to PlayStation, it's $59.99 on PlayStation. On Xbox. If you go to Xbox, it's $59.99 on Xbox. Damn, I can't read them. Maybe my homie Joe was right. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. $59.99 on Xbox. You go to PlayStation, it's $59.99 on PlayStation. If you go to Steam, where Stadia can't mess with Steam because the games are the cheapest there on Steam all the time, they're always going to be cheaper on Steam. You go to Steam, it's $59.99 on Steam. Are we going to stop the lunacy? Look. This is the question. Do you guys want to be informed or do you just want to belong? If you want to belong, then exit stage right. This is not the format for you. I'm not even going to try to take your money. It's not a money grab with me. When I do the prognosis, the PNTS Patreon stuff, it's because people want to be informed. I don't play. Look, when we go over there, when you come on my white bearskin rug, you got to take your shoes off. I don't play that muddy shit over there. I don't play it over there. Take your shoes off. Now, when we out in the field, we can play turkey ball in the snow and all that other stuff. You feel me? But the prognosis TV, bro, we look, take them shoes off. I get that your socks is holy. Hopefully your feet don't stink. Go wash them in the sink. I'm not playing that stupid, idiotic, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to ramble and just give mumbo jumbo stuff. We've been telling you for almost a year that the notion that games on Stadia are more expensive than on PlayStation and elsewhere is a lie. We've been telling you that. You don't want to be informed, so you just been running with the crazy narrative, and then you go on social media and you actually argue that narrative. It's one thing if we're in a podcast and you're in a chat and you're just trying to poke fun. That's different. But when you actually hit social media and try to have a serious discussion based off these lies, that's a reflection. It's not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on you. You feel me? Again, do we got to do it again? Bada boom, bada bing. $14.99 on Stadia, $59.99 on on Xbox, $59.99 on the PlayStation Store. Steam is $59.99. No, MM2K, that's Photoshop. Get the hell out of here. Now, am I right or are you wrong? And this is why I say don't listen to the mainstream. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They have an agenda. They're getting free Cyberpunk chairs. They're getting free Razer phones. All that stuff. They got an agenda. Oh, you said something bad about Stadia. Attaboy. Phil thanks you for that one, Jazz. No, we're not going to play them games here. And if you want a fanboy for your favorite podcaster, whether they're telling the truth or not, that's fine. But don't bring that over to the Prognosis TV. We're all about facts here. It's all about education. I can entertain, I'll debate and argue with you. But again, if you want to be part of this Patreon experience, it's not only because you want to support what we're doing, which we appreciate that we can't do this without you, but you got to be factually minded. If you don't want to be factually minded and have factually based discussions, exit stage right. Immediately. All right. Next we go, Horse. You got my boy stunned. I'm just saying, man. I had to do that. You know, I had that waiting. I had that cocked in the chamber. We just had to do that just to get all the silly gut people out of the way right here and right now. You feel me? What the hell is that floating in the background there? I don't know what the hell that is. I got something playing weird in the upper left-hand corner. I don't know. Anyway, so now that we got that out of the way, there we go. All right, let's go here. That's myth number 2. Myth number 3. Luna Plus will launch with more games. Again, let me go back here. Maybe I shouldn't have left. There we go. This Luna Plus model does not have 100 games in it. It only has 50 games. When it launches, we don't know when, but we're set to get another 5 games. From my figures, we have about 46 or more, and I could be wrong, 46 or more Stadia Pro games that have been given out since the inception of Stadia Pro. Since the inception of Stadia Pro, there's been about 46 games. At the rate that Stadia has been giving out games each month, they've been giving out anywhere between 4 to 6 games. So, if they've been giving out 4 to 6 games, you want to see the new trailer? Okay, let me move it back. If they've been giving out 4 to 6 games, and we're at 46, that means that by the time this launches, we're likely going to be at 52. We're likely going to be at 52. So no. And that's why, and I think it was VG247, they had to go back and retract the statement where somebody said, we're going to have more games than Stadia and less than Game Pass. No. Stadia was like, no, y'all still don't get it. Take your shoes off before you hit the bearskin rug, puppy. No. And they had to retract the statement. Right? Because in all likelihood, we're either going to have the same amount of games or Stadia is actually going to have more pro games that were given out since inception. Luna Plus is going to have it released. So there you have it. That's myth number 3. Myth number 4. Luna is early access. Stadia is not. So Luna's shortcomings are okay. All right. So this is where I flip the script a little bit. This is where I flip it a little bit. And here's where I gotta admit, this is where Stadia messed up. And kudos to Luna for being on the forefront of doing this right. Just sitting back, chilling, observing, taking notes, and saying, all right, we're gonna do this better. Now, I know the homie Storm, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. The homie Storm don't agree with me. But for all intents and purposes, now I know I've said GFN before, but you know, GFN's a little iffy. But Stadia, xCloud, Shadow, and all of them mugs, except for maybe GFN now that I think about it, and definitely PS Now. But all the other ones, Luna, they are all early access. Why do I say that? Because the concept of early access is we're not giving you all of our base offerings right now. However, we're asking you to pay while we're trying to give you that effort. That's the whole concept of early access. I am someone that has been doing early access gaming since it became a thing in the early Steam days. So trust me, I know. Now people may try to morph it, cut this out, caveat or whatever to fit their marketing needs, but early access is early access. You're getting access to something early where it's not completely baked yet. And even though Stadia is a great experience, even though they tried to market it as a full retail, full everything out the box experience, it's not fully baked yet because the basic fundamental features, the crowd play, the crowd choice, all that stuff wasn't even available at launch. Until the basic functionality of the platform becomes available, it's still early access. It could be a great early access experience that's better than most full retail experiences, but it's still early access. But where the other people did right is they weren't playing those games with you. They let you know this was early access, or in xCloud's case, where they still try to be a little deceptive, they say it's a beta. Well, it's a paid beta because you can't access xCloud unless you pay for Game Pass. But they're all early access, and the main reason why they're all early access is every cloud gaming solution, if it wants to be successful, has to start off in early access because it's all based upon the data collection phases that they all got to go through. Now, again, you daddy device warlords that listen to those people that tell you the wrong stuff, y'all laugh and giggle every time the word data collection phase is mentioned. Us that are in the cloud gaming hubs, this is something that we frequent all the time. But data collection data collection doesn't mean a whole bunch of surveys taken on the back of kids' meals at Arby's. Stop it! Y'all can't be that dumb. Data collection means the data that is collected while you're playing your game that is fed back to the AI that is feeding the cloud gaming platform. That's the data collection, not some telemarketer, not Bebop calling you on a Saturday afternoon. Hello, did you like playing Assassin's Creed on Stadia? Stop! Y'all can't be out here capping for xCloud this hard, and y'all don't understand this. There cannot be this much stupidity in the water. Stop it. The data collection is based upon the data, the electronic data that is fed to the AI process via the machine learning that helps make the user end experience better. Like, let me give you a prime example. When I got Destiny on Stadia, I got to experience it 3 days after it launched. At launch, from what I understand, it was an egregious experience. It was horrible on launch day. But I got it 3 days later. 3 days later, within that time from when it launched and from when I got it, there was data that was fed back to Stadia where they could manually make adjustments, or the AI would do some things visually, and machine learning would say, okay, because we're seeing that there are these type of hiccups and these type of network situations, let's fix that, let's do that, boom, 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 boom. And the data collection phase refers to the phase where data is being collected to make the cloud service a 1v1 match against daddy device gaming. See, right now, none of these platforms across the board can ruck with daddy devices in every aspect. Like, as much as I love Stadia, as great as it looks, and even though it does have the 10.7 T flops, the Xbox One X and its 4K fidelity, it has better texturing. The texturing goes from a smidgen better to significantly better. And it's going to take the AI and the machine learning to continue to build Stadia to get it a 1v1 match where the textures look just as good on Stadia as it does the Daddy device counterpart. That's the data collection phase, to get these cloud services as a 1v1 alternative fidelity-wise and performance-wise versus their counterparts. Same thing with latency. Now, the latency is great on Stadia. It's the best out of all the cloud services, except for maybe keyboard and mouse. But again, the data that is collected from when you're playing games, and Tequila Works described this maybe better than I have in their interview with GameIndustry.biz. Get y'all asses out of GitHub, get asses out of Pizza Hub, or whatever the hell you're at, and get to where the cloud information is. Because y'all look goofy capping for xCloud, not knowing the basic fundamentals. You look goofy. So, with that said, the data collection phase again refers to the time that each of these cloud services, all of them got to do it to get enough data to the AI via machine learning and all that stuff so it can output the game experience back to the user in a way that's a 1v1 match to dedicated devices and not take some time. That's what the data collection phase is. If you need more details on it, go look at the Tequila Works interview with GameIndustry.biz as they talk about Stadia to get more information. Go watch the Google I.O. from 2019, watch the Google GDC, but more importantly, the Google I.O. All right. So, in that response, all of these released in early access. Stadia made a mistake and didn't make that abundantly clear. I think what the fear was is that they thought that they couldn't get enough people to buy units if they called it early access, that people would have just waited. But what they end up doing is they end up tarnishing to the hardcore the reputation of the platform, because it looked like that all this stuff was going to be available at launch to many because they were lied to from the same names that I named earlier today. But they thought a lot of it was going to be ready at launch because they were fed misinformation. They were in the wrong bubbles, in the wrong hubs. And because of that lack of transparency, Amazon learned and said, no, we're going to call this early access. And guess what? It's boding better with the community. And kudos to them for doing that. So this is a myth that I'm debunking, but I'm debunking it exposing Stadia. Stadia is early access, and they should have said that. But they made the miscalculation of thinking if they didn't say that they would get more participation to help in the data collection phase, and it probably ended up hindering them some. All right? So gotcha. All right. So those were all of the myths. Real quick, because I only got 30 minutes before we do our thing on TSI. What is the actual threat that Luna poses? Well, threat number one is that Windows x86. Big ups to the homie Random Noob, someone else that knows what he's talking about, not in the GitHubs, that knows what he's talking about when it comes to cloud gaming, who has educated me over the last 10, 11 months. Random Noob said that the Windows x86 architecture does make it easy, so easy to port the PC versions of a game and put it in AWS. And that's going to be the genius of Luna, is that if you want a whole bunch of games, I mean, just imagine this proposal. We're Amazon. We're the number one cloud providers everywhere. So we got that stature. We go to Square Enix and we say, Square, look, we know you ain't working for nothing on cloud that we know of. Or they go to THQ. We know you ain't got nothing popping for the cloud. Come to us, the number one cloud providers in everything. Port your PC version of your games over to us, and we'll create you a channel where you can become just like Game Pass or just like Ubisoft. And that is a powerful proposal. And what Luna is proposing is going to those entities, having a Square Enix channel, having a THQ channel, and so forth and so forth. Having an Activision channel if Activision's willing to play ball. Now, they did sign with Google for I think for cloud technology. EA also did too for some of his cloud technology. But again, can you imagine elsewhere where they go to Amazon and they like, all right, well, we got a plethora of games. Not Zipper Interactive. Who was that? That other group that bought 4A. The group that just bought 4A. Saber Interactive, I think it is. And imagine if Amazon approaches them and say, all these great Saber games. What if you create a Saber Interactive channel that got all the Metros and all the other games, and you charge whatever you want to charge? That's a powerful proposal. And that carves out a niche in the gaming market for Luna, particularly with the hardcore that want to play a plethora of games, like myself. I got to be honest with you. If, because of that x86 architect, Windows x86 portability situation, if their Uplay Plus, if their version of the Ubisoft channel has more games and it has great performance, I'm going to go to that one because I love Ubisoft. But I know but this is where Stadia has its lane. But I know I'm going to get singular day and date content from Stadia, like how I did with Marvel, how I did with NBA 2K21 this month, how I did with Serious Sam, but I ain't gonna talk about that one, and how I will with Baldur's Gate, where I don't want to buy the whole 2K channel. I don't want to buy the whole Crystal Dynamic channel. I just want the game a la carte. But I want it frictionless. I want it without having to buy a console. I wanted to have it without having to pay $200 something for a goddamn SSD. And I can get it through the cloud via Stadia with the greatest performance out of all the cloud gaming services. That's going to be Stadia's niche. Also, Stadia's niche is going to be enhancing your gaming experience altogether, but we're going to get into that as I start to wrap this up. And so, therefore, again, that is Luna's threat. Is that, let's just say if I am a hardcore gamer and I pick 3 or 4 channels, all my money's tied up in those 3 or 4 channels, I'm not spending my money elsewhere. I might do Ubisoft, Square Enix, and I don't know, an Activision channel. And let's just say them puppies is $10, $15 a month. And I'm happy. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. And that's not just a threat to Stadia, that's a threat to Xbox. Because everybody don't play Bethesda games. Everybody don't play them. They have a lot of people that play them, but not everybody plays them. That's a threat to PlayStation, and that's a threat to Stadia. It's a threat to everybody. So everybody better watch out. This is some serious stuff if they do it right. So I'm not taking that from Luna. This is serious. But again, Xbox, PlayStation, and Stadia have their alternative methods that Luna doesn't have. If I'm a casual and I could care less about a channel full of this game or that game, then I want to buy my stuff a la carte. Luna doesn't do nothing for me. And we know that the vast majority of gamers, the casuals, only want to play 2 or 3 games a year. And they're not, all 2 or 3 of those games aren't just made by Activision. They're not just made by 2K and so forth. They're spread all over publishers. So having the all access channel ain't going to do nothing for me. Let me give you an example. This is modeling Amazon's vision with their Prime channels, the HBO channels, and the Cinemax and all other stuff. But let's just say for Cinemax, all I want to watch is Warriors. I'd rather just pay $7.99 for the whole season or the whole 2 seasons of Warriors and be done with it. I don't want you hitting me for $9.99 a month. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where a big swath of gamers, the casual gamers, that's where they fit into. So not AWS, but Luna doesn't do anything for those gamers, but it proposes a lot for the hardcore gamer. All right? And that's dangerous. So we got to keep it jiggy. Now, at the end of the day, everybody will have its own perks. They'll have their own their individual pros and cons. Stadia's pros will be, and I'm just going to deal with Stadia, Luna, and xCloud. Stadia's pros will be, they will be able to provide exclusive content. They're working on it hard. That's why they got Girly for Santa Monica, Shannon Studstill. They got Jade Raymond, and they're going to build that new studio in London. So they're trying to give you exclusive content, sub packages like Stadia Pro, and they're working on enhanced gameplay experiences. They're looking to change the way that games are being developed altogether. In a realm that, and big ups to Eddie for mentioning this, in a realm that Sony was looking at when they came into the game. You got to do research on Project Chimera. Come on now. Project Chimera and that, what is it, game, the game bus enhancements. You got to look at that. That Aaron Hoffman John talked about during their development keynotes earlier this year on how they're handling multiple computations and stuff like that. That will tell you that Stadia's in it for the long haul. They're looking in the next 3 to 5 years to change the way games are being developed, period. They're not looking at what's happening primarily in these first 3 years to determine their success. This is just laying the foundation, and they know that a big part of that is the data collection phase. So that's what this is. They're putting some games out there, to give you some services, enough to keep people interested to collect that data. Then when they're ready to hit hard, they will hit hard. Luna's offerings are more immediate. Let's get as many games, as many channels out here, as much as we can, and get that volume out here. They're not looking to revolutionize how game development happens. They just want to revolutionize where you play your games at as quick as possible, which is with them. And we got inside information from very valuable sources. They ain't looking to be creating their a plethora of exclusive content anytime soon. They just want to get what's out there and at mass and create these channels as fast as possible. And lastly, xCloud is looking to provide you with Game Pass content, which they feel is now ultra valuable because of the inclusion of Bethesda and its frictionless manner via xCloud. And all the kicking and slapping I was doing of xCloud, that is soon going to go away when they implement Orion into the game engines of the games that come to the platform. Wolf of Darkness says, how much is Stadia? Stadia is nothing. You have options with Stadia, Wolf. You can either just buy your game that you want. So let's say, for instance, if I wanted to play Marvel via Stadia, I just make an account. That costs me nothing to make an account. You don't even need to put your credit card information in and do the free trial anymore. I just sign up with my Gmail account and I go and I buy Marvel. And I'm playing Marvel. Now, if I want to play that in 4K and I want to get additional games on top of that, then you pay the $10 sub fee. But Stadia is nothing. You go right here on your web browser and play it. I do it every day on my Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/MightyMost2000. I play Division every day on there via my web browser in beautiful 4K. Still exact, that's not true. It depends on how you want to play it. If you're willing to play it on just your laptop or your phone, it's nothing. Now, if you want to play it on your TV at the moment, yes, you have to buy a Premier Edition, which is $99. But you don't have to play that way. It's the best service out there as far as performance. You need to look at the catalog, though, Wolf of Darkness, to see if the catalog is for you. They have almost 100. I want to say they got 90 games in totality right now. 46 of them were included in their Pro package. All right. So there you have it, folks. The education of everybody in regards to what's going on with what do you call that? With Luna. Luna's serious. I'm not taking that away from them. It's serious. It's a threat to everybody. But everybody still has their own individual perks where they're fine. And there's just this desire to kill Stadia because people died on that sword. They already hopped on that sword. Stadia's going to die. It's going to be dead before the end of the year. Now we're coming up on the end of the year, and it doesn't look like it's dying anytime soon. So this platform is going to, no, this game is going to take it out because it's here, or that game is going to take, and it didn't happen. Now it's, oh, this platform is going to take it out, and it's not going to happen. Let me show y'all something real quick before I go, because I got to get ready to go to TSI, and follow that link below because we're going to be there at 3 p.m. in like 18 minutes from now. Let me see if I can find this link. Let me see. Control minus. Do it one more time. There we go. Let me go to my bookmarks. Let me see if I can find it. It's going to take me a minute, y'all. Give me a moment. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I can find it. Oh, give me a moment. It's what I was looking for, y'all, is it's an article from 2019, March of 2019, well before the launch of Stadia, where the head of games for Stadia, Jack Buser, said, he said out of his very own mouth that we don't expect Stadia to become a staple in homes for 3 years. He said, we know that the very first year, people are going to play it, and there's going to be a group of people that say, okay, it's not for me. And he said, you're going to be surprised to see that in 3 years' time, the people that come back because of the games that we have or the buzz that is going to be growing for it because of the data collection phase, that in 3 years' time, people are going to come back to it and they're going to say, oh my God, this is so much better than what I experienced at first. It's so much better than the dedicated device experience that I have now. But that's not to say it's not great right now. Again, I stream on it every day, 4K, 60 frames per second, Division 2. Check out my Stadia Doses channel for it. As a matter of fact, let me just do this. Real quick before I go, let me just go here. For those of y'all that are curious, let me go to Stadia Dosage. Let me go to my videos. All up in the videos. Let me go to my videos and see if I can find, there we go. Find my 4K Division video. Hold on, share, copy, and there it goes right there. Check that out. Copy that right now. And after this, check out the fidelity on that. That is coming from a web browser, okay? All right, that's it, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of y'all, but I just wanted to make sure that I know those of you that are used to your consoles and you used to listen to the Jason and Jazz and all them, and because of their ignorance to how this works, that y'all were being misinformed. You could still love your Xbox and your PlayStation, but you could have a second alternative that you're missing out on because of their misinformation. And I just don't like that. As someone that has suffered from that in the past, I don't like that. I don't like when people have agendas and they try to put purchasing choices on me based off their ignorance. So there you go. You are educated, hopefully. And if you want more, go here. We're going to do this regularly. It's a segment called Prognosis TV, Cloud Gaming 101. We do it regular. Go to our Patreon. All it takes is $1 and a dream to experience that. And with that said, I appreciate all of y'all. Love you guys. Can't do this without you. You have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.